And honor to the Most High Yah by way of Yahuah HaMashiach this day. John 5:39. Just keep it rolling for what we've been doing. Straight like that. Straight like, oh no. This headache ain't going. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, me not. Of another who come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one another and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There is one that accuse you, even Moses, in whom ye trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 6. Let's keep it moving down the track on the train, on that midnight train to Georgia, on what we've been dealing with. On that midnight train to Georgia. What's going on, man? Shoot, man. Everything good on this end, man. What's good on your end, man? We ready to put that album together while you're playing. But I'm gonna talk to you about that later. We're not gonna deal with that right now. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come with something real. I got a lot of ideas, man. I've been had a lot of ideas for a lot of stuff. I got a lot of ideas. You know what I'm saying? I want to put together something that's never been done in this particular musical genre. Nevertheless, 13 and 6. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things, love never fail. And we've been looking at believe. We talked about hope. Now we're looking at believe. Believe in all things, and we talked about some of those things on Wednesday. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I got you. I got you. Say less. Say less. I was talking to my homeboy, man. He hit me up, man. He was telling me about some conversation he had with a woman who was supposed to be in the world that came in big. And he was saying, you know, heard the true gospel versus what's generally taught in the, you know what I mean? He would like, you know, more people would believe and more people would do certain things. I told him absolutely not. They wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I told him that. Go to Ezekiel chapter 2. Let me tell you why I told him that. This is why I told him that. I understood what he meant, but I've been dealing with the word a long time, man. Most High willing, we coming up on 10 years in the game. So, and still paying dues, even 10 years in the game. So, when you look at, oh, it's actually Ezekiel 3. Ezekiel 3 and 4. You know, when you look at, when you've been doing something, matter of fact, make it Ezekiel, just start at verse 1. When you've been doing something for a long time and come from the heart, that's what you really about, that's what you really do. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make me any better than anybody else. It's just, you know, just what I'm on, like literally, no cap. You know what I'm saying? Got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I was preaching or not. This is how I choose to live. I don't care what other people think. I don't care how other people live. I don't care what other people believe. Do you know what I'm saying? It has absolutely no bearing on me whatsoever on what I'm going to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I'm on and what I stand for. I could care less what you going to do. That's you. You got to deal with that and you got to answer for that. You know what I'm saying? You move along with it. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes a lot of people who deal with the word is too concerned about what other people are doing or what other people believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you believe. I believe in the living Elohim through the manifestation of his only begotten son, Yahuah HaMashiach, and everything that pertains to Kadesh, clean and upright and righteous living according to the standard of the living Elohim, whose name is Yahuah. And if you ain't in line with that, you know what I mean? You know, what can I do? I can't do nothing about that. I could care less if you mock me, shun me, you know what I'm saying? This, that, then the third. But whatever the case may be, I'm going to hold that down, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to hold that down, though. You do what you want, but I'm going to hold that down, though, because that's what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? When we was on other things and other times in life, you know what I'm saying? Bad, for sure, for sure. Hold on, for sure. Y'all give me a second, man. Good brother Sean there. Dearly beloved brother right there. You know what I mean? Like, word. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, nigga. You just gotta, Junior just said what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, this what you own and what you got to be on. You can't be concerned with what other people got going on. But what I told them was, is like, we don't hear Yah. So why, Shalom, brother, why would we think because if you're not teaching we Israel keep the laws and you preaching the gospel of salvation so that people can believe that everybody when they hear it is going to believe it. That's an idealistic viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? Some people will look at it you being pragmatic or you're being negative. I'm just being real based off the word. Let's see why. And he's moreover he said unto me, son of man, eat thou that thou find, eat this roll. Go speak unto the house of Yasharal. He told him eat the book. So I opened my mouth and he caused me to eat that roll. He said unto me, son of man, cause thy belly to eat. Fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweet. That's why I say if you hunger for righteousness, you're going to be filled. He told him, man, eat the roll. See, if you believe all things, then you're going to end up hoping in all things, enduring all things, and bearing all things because you ate the roll. So when you're talking about consuming the roll, that means if you've consumed this roll, pause. Let's just do it like this here. Hold what you got. It's all relevant. Praise the Lamb. Come over here to John 5 real quick. John 6, my apologies. Not 5. John 6. Simply, just John chapter 6. And we'll pick him up at about verse 48. Because I want you to really understand, right? If you want your faith to be increased, you have to actually literally eat the roll. And when you eat the roll, it's because you're laying the word upon your heart. And when you lay the word upon your heart, you actually begin to execute it. See, like I was talking about this last night, and I told my homeboy the same token, right? None of y'all ain't never seen y'all before. You don't really trust everybody who you've seen in the flesh because you feel people got ulterior motives. Most people done lost out in their lifetime, whether it was romantically or platonically, on somebody who really loved and cared about them because they thought that person was trying to get over on them because we not used to people doing. It's like people are not even used to somebody doing something and not even wanting anything in return. You know what I'm saying? Like people not used to that. Put that in the trash, please. People not used to that. So you look at it funny. We live in a society where you don't trust nobody. This, that, then, the third. It's understood because people are shady, people are evil, people are selfish. People got a lot of things going on. So then you deal with a man and his word is just in a book. You don't look at it as this man is looking to you in your face, talking to you, telling you this is who I am, this is what I'm about, and this is what I'm going to do if you jump down on my team. Is you riding? You rolling with that? You down with that? You have a hard time. Indeed, that's what we have. You have a hard time looking at it in that fashion as if this is a person standing in front of you, spitting a word to you, and you believe it because you can't see him. So because you can't see him, you doubt it. 99.9% of the time, why people doubt because stuff don't go the way they want it to go. And they don't get the stuff that they want. Because you think this man is your own personal genie, your own personal wish granter. So you begin to doubt him because you didn't really have an anchor in what he was promising anyway, because that's not really what you wanted. See, when you look at talking about eternal life and the kingdom and all these things that he mentioned, see, people don't really want that. They don't really want, see, pause. See, we're going to deal with something. I talked to them about this. Let's just roll with me. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which come down from Shamahim, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from Shamahim. If any man eat this bread, he shall live forever. The bread that I will give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. The Yahudim therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Don't come in here with all that noise. You know better. Then Yahushua said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, except you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoso eat my flesh and drink my blood have eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eat my flesh and drink my blood dwell in me, and I in him. And as the living Abba hath sent me, and I live by Abba, so have he that eat me, even he shall live by me. So when you eat his flesh, you're going to live by the word. But why would you eat said flesh? Why would you do it? You would do it because there was a hope or a belief in what he was saying to you to begin with. See, before we go any further, come over here to John chapter 8 real quick, and then I'll come back to Ezekiel. Just come over here to John chapter 8 real quick. I want you to sit back. I want you to pick it up at verse 25. I just want to sit back and look at an example. How these people believed on what he was saying. See, there's a reason why the book say faith come by hearing and hearing come by the word. You cannot believe unless you hear the word. He said, how can you believe except you have a preacher? Meaning that someone has to audibly speak it to you. That's just how he ordained it. You can go look back in Exodus for that. And if you don't want to hear that, then you can go all the way back to Genesis for that. When he sat down, he taught it. He didn't give him a book and say, here, read this. Even when they wrote down the book of Yahuah, he still ordained Levites to teach the people. Somebody has to speak it to you because you got to hear it in your ear so you can believe it in your heart. Because if you don't hear it in your ear, you're not going to believe it here. And if you don't hear it here, you're not going to believe it here. So you're going to live how you want to live. And when it comes time where that faith get tested, you're going to fold. You're going to fold. Because it was never inside you to begin with. See, most people start, we Israel, this, that, and the third. Man, that junk don't develop no faith, man. Oh, you got to keep these laws. Laws weren't the faith. They weren't never made to develop no faith. You don't read nobody in this book who got no faith off of keeping no laws. Not nowhere. I had a believer like this here. He said, man, but if people hear the preaching of Yahuah, they'll believe. I said, boy, I done seen people who didn't. Believe you me, it don't develop no faith. Not if it ain't a heart of faith there to start. The heart of faith has to be there. If it's not there, you're never going, see the key thing right is here, right? If you do not have an insatiable, and when I say insatiable, meaning it cannot be quenched, it cannot be satiated, it cannot be abated in any shape, form, or fashion with any type of trinket, desire, feeling, or object, or person in this life, you'll never fully commit yourself to Yahuah. You'll never do it. As long as there's stuff in this life that you number one concerned with, that you want to do, that you overly concerned with, you can never fully give yourself over to his promises because those things will weigh you down. That's why he say where your heart is, your treasure will be also. We say where your treasure is, your heart will be also. Do you know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. The things that this here I'm talking about, it cannot be satiated. It cannot be quenched. That's how your hunger for him got to be. Because he said if you hunger and thirst after righteousness, he'll fill you. He's going to fill you with himself. But if you don't believe that, then of course you're never going to be filled. You're always going to be operating on half empty. See, this ain't college and this ain't high school where you do just enough to pass. Just enough to pass cause you to go to hell. Because you can't do just enough to pass. This has to be your number one desire above all things in life. See, people don't tell nobody that because nobody really yearns for Yahuah like that. Most people don't because they've never seen that actual demonstration. You know what I'm saying? They've never actually seen somebody who longs and believes and hopes for Yahuah in that fashion, and it ain't taught to them. They don't see that out the book. They don't show nobody that out the book. So you miss it. You caught up on cultural importance. You caught up on law keeping. You'll never develop a faith in Yahuah through that. Never. Because see, you stuck on cultural importance versus the importance of being a son and daughter of the living Elohim. That's way bigger than being an Israelite. You can't even compare the two. Can't even compare the two. They're incomparable. That's why he said, all Yasharal is not of Yasharal. They that are the flesh are not counted for the seed. The children of the promise are counted for the seed. That's the children who are of faith. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But nevertheless, John 8:25. Then said they unto him, who art thou? Yahushua saith unto them, even the same that I said unto you from the beginning. He said, I'm the same person I told you I was from the jump street. Son of God. That's who I am. I've been told you that. You ain't believe me though. He said, I have many things to say and to judge of you, but he that sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. You have to choose Yahushua over yourself. Bump your family. Because if you ain't going to choose him over yourself, you definitely ain't going to choose him over your family. You got to choose the Lord over yourself. That's why they say you got to hate your own life also. You got to choose him over yourself. You got to choose him over your own desire. That's what he did. He could have easily said, man, I ain't drinking this cup. I'm out. He said, no, I'm going to drink that. That's the will. That's what I came here for. Why? For the joy set before me. He told me he ain't going to suffer me to see corruption. I believe him. Like it's not really that complex. Do you believe what the man's saying or not? Yahushua didn't see himself being rolled from the dead. He couldn't see that. Animated in the flesh. He couldn't see that. He said, but I know my Abba ain't no liar. What you mean? See, when you know the average person said, well, see, he was in heaven with him, so he seen him. And what's your point? You believe the man on the strength of his word or not? Some of y'all trust people more than you trust God. You know what the book say about you? You cursed. That's what a lot of people problem is. You trust people more than you trust Yah. Same person you trust, you got to stand in front of the judgment seat just like they do. You better trust the man on the other side of that bench. Nevertheless, I have many things to say to you and judge of you. He that sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him. They understood not that he spake to them of the Father. Then said Yahushua unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man. Pause. Now look what he telling them now. Listen what he telling them. When you've lifted up the Son of Man, then you shall know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father have taught me, I speak these things. And he that sent me is with me, and the Father have not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. And as he spake these words, many believed on him. Now look at this here, right? This man just told these people he was going to be crucified. I'm going to die. And people believed him off of what he was saying. Even up when we didn't even start up at the beginning, when he told them, you're going to go your way and seek me, and you're going to die in your sins. And where I'm going, you can't come. He said, I'm from above, you from beneath. And I told you, if you don't believe that I'm he, you're going to die in your sins. The people heard that stuff he was spitting. They said, well, I got to be the Son of God. You know what I'm saying? We talked about this last night, bro. We didn't talk about this before. You look at Naaman the Syrian. Naaman was told to go dip in the Jordan and be clean of his leprosy. That's all he had to do. He was hot. Because he thought he was going to see some great, miraculous event. And it took somebody to tell him, like, you know, man, if he would have told you to do all this great and fantastic stuff, you would have did it with no problem. Why you won't take your monkey behind down there and dip yourself in that water 7 times to be clean? He said, you know what, you right. And he went down there and did it. And see, that's what most people's problem is you want to see something fantastic. See, you want to do like how Gideon did. If you be really with me, you know, let the water be on the fleece. See, you want him to show you something over and over and over again to prove to you that he's the living Elohim. You just not going to believe him because off of what he said. And then most people get it confused because you stuck on the vessel and not the words that's coming out the mouth of the vessel because you stuck on the person. I don't like him. I don't like how he dressed. I don't like how he talk. You know what I'm saying? This, that, there, and the third. Nigga, y'all never asked you what you liked and how you liked it and how you wanted it. He said, believe the gospel and be saved. And the reason why I say that is this. John chapter 11. Matthew chapter 11. This is why I said this here now. Because you're going to sit back versus appearing what you're looking at. Because you think stuff coming how you want it. See, this way you got the game twisted at. You should want his salvation. You shouldn't care how he get it to you. As long as it come by the way of righteousness, what you care. You care because you don't really, when you looking for a reason to reject it. Matthew chapter 11, verse 16. He said, but whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children that sitting in the markets, calling unto their fellows, saying, we have piped unto you, and you have not danced. We have mourned unto you, and you have not lamented. For John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he have a devil. Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man gluttonous and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of her children. See what he told. Look what he told them. John ain't come eating and drinking. They say, oh, that nigga got devil on him. Boy, that nigga got devil on him. He out there with that camel hair on, eating wild locusts and honey, talking about repent. Boy, he got a devil in him. Because he ain't supposed to have that on. See, back it up right here, back to verse 7. That's where I should have hit you at from the beginning. See, you got it. Then Yahushua came sitting down with the people, sipping, eating a little bit. They saw that nigga there drunk and a glutton. Because he didn't come how you wanted him to come. Because you were looking for a reason to reject him in the first place. That you wasn't trying to hear what they had to say. You didn't want to believe what they had to say. So you were looking for a reason to disqualify them so you didn't have to fool with them. And people do this all the time in regular natural situations. People sabotage stuff with somebody who they, you know what I'm saying, deal with. It could be business, it could be friendship, it could be romance. You looking for a reason to disqualify this person. Because you don't really want to fool with them. But you know that this is you know this is right. You know this your friend. You know this person down with you. You're looking for a reason. You don't want to believe it. Look what he told them though. And as they departed, Yahushua began to say unto the multitudes concerning John, what you went out to see in the wilderness, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaking with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Huh? You thought you were going to see somebody in some fly clothes? That what you thought you were going to see? That what you were looking for? He said, behold, they that wear soft raiment are in the king's houses. But what went you out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. So he said, that's what you went out. Oh, you thought you were going to see if he was going to be arrayed in all these nice clothes. You know, I don't care if it's a suit and tie. I don't care if you say if it's a Hebrew girl. I don't care what you think it is. They say, oh, you thought he was supposed to be dressed like this. He said, no, they in king raiment. This man in humble attire. You didn't want to take him because he ain't come how you wanted him to come. He wasn't dressed how you wanted him to dress. He wasn't talking how you wanted him to talk because you were looking for a reason to not believe Yah in the first place. That's what people do. And they think it's cool. Man, I can't tell you how many times people done walked up to me like, well, I never would have thought you would have known what you knew looking at you. That's your fault. Because I got a t-shirt on, because I had some basketball shorts on, because I had some flip-flops on. So that's what you thought? That's you. You the dummy. You the fool. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't look at nobody and be like, he don't know nothing. Look how he dressed. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Do people do that every day? Absolutely. I don't. I wasn't raised that way. That thought wasn't put in my mind that I'm supposed to esteem somebody based off how they dress or make assumptions. Because we were taught, don't underestimate nobody. You end up looking like a fool. That's how you looking stupid. Don't underestimate nobody. And that were mainly in two main areas. That was intellectually and that was fighting. That's what we were told. Don't look at somebody and be like, oh, I can whoop him. That boy turn around and knock you clean out. You wonder what happened because you came in to underestimate. That's what we're told. Don't underestimate no one. No one. In no shape, form, or fashion. People do it every day. You make assessments on somebody based on how they look, which is the dumbest thing in the world. One of the dumbest things I see black people do all the time, somebody light-skinned, oh, they must be mixed. I never thought like that. Oh, she light-skinned. You know what I'm saying? My sister light-skinned, both her parents are jet black. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people operate. Don't do all that. Pick it up and put it up. Now you're just around here dragging out a simple task just to do it. Oh man, they done cut cuz and all. That's rough. Come on back to Ezekiel chapter 3. See how them white folk do you? Get a little bad publicity, they get rid of you. I'm just saying that because I got a notification saying the running back for the Chiefs got cut because a video came out that he pushed a woman. This video was from literally, it's almost December now, 10 months ago. And the league and the Chiefs knew about it, but now because it became public, they won't do something to you. And in the vein of that song that just came out today, What Free? That just show you how you ain't free. That just show you how the people do. You cast you to the side and get rid of you when you don't serve no financial purpose or entertainment value or gain for them. That's why it's better for you just to lean on your God and screw them people. And hey, just do that. That's what that tell you. But nevertheless, where I start that? We in Ezekiel 3 and 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Yasharal and speak with my words. Speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Yasharal. That means you ain't going to nobody who don't know what you're saying. They understand you clearly. Not too many people of a strange speech and of a hard language whose words thou cannot understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Yasharal will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For the house of Yasharal are impudent and hard-hearted. He said, you're stubborn. You're stubborn. You're obstinate. You're rebellious. He said, if I would have sent you to another people, they'd have heard every single solitary word you said. That's why I told my homeboy that, man, like, but it doesn't matter. Because you speaking y'all words. And if they not hearing y'all, what makes you think they gonna hear you? And you speaking his words. It's sad, but it's the reality of the situation. But what I would want to hear. Come over here to John chapter 10, since I'm speaking along them veins. I wasn't intending on going in this direction, but praise y'all nonetheless for it. John 10 and 22. Let's sit back and show you. Before we get to believing all things in the arm of Yah being revealed, his secrets being manifested to those who believe it. You know what I mean? Like, believing the word do a lot for you. We was all talking about this like last night too. Like, when you believe the word, you look in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11, when they're talking about how wisdom deliver you from evil people. Especially if you're a man, deliver you from a strange woman, all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you don't realize that when you believe the word, they tell you the same thing in the second epistle of Peter, that those who are clean escape from those who live in error. And of course, that's based off of what's in Proverbs. You know what I'm saying? And what we don't understand is that when you believe the word and you begin to actively apply it because you believe it, this is where your wisdom come in at. And this wisdom will deliver you from the clutches, the grasps, if you will, of transgressors. It can deliver you from situations that otherwise would have destroyed you. And it'll allow those who live in that error to be destroyed by their own desire. Because at the end of the day, like I said, right, he's saying their Elohim is their belly, and they lust after earthly things, who pride is their shame, and they're going to be destroyed. Because at the end of the day, anybody who feels the wrath of Elohim will feel the wrath of Elohim for one reason and one reason only, because of the things that they desired. The things that they desired were contrary to the will of the living Elohim. They sought after those with all earnesty, and they will receive a recompense meet for their work. All those who seek after the words of the living Elohim to be justified by faith in him, which is in the manifestation of his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, then you will be recompensed with the work that is meet for you, which is everlasting life. And it comes down to one simple concept. Did you believe the promise that he made in the first place? Do you believe Yahushua manifested on the earth because your God told you so? Do you believe that Yahushua manifested on the earth and was killed and resurrected the third day? Killed for your condemnation, for your sins, but raised again for your justification through faith in his name. Do you believe in that? Because if you don't, you will not be saved at all. Period. It ain't going to happen. Nevertheless, John 10 and 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter. Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came the Yahudim round about him and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be Hamashiach, tell us plainly. Yahushua answered them, I told you, and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. He said, I told you. So us going through this text to believe all things as we should. Let's do that. And I mentioned to this last night, and I'll just use this because it's fresh in my brain, because we just did it. Come over here to Luke chapter 19. Hold your John 10, I should say. We are good. I say we are good in Ezekiel. We don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. But we want to go to Luke chapter 19 and verse 1. You know, praise y'all for the word. You know, I seen a individual was talking right about the Sabbath. That junk was funny to me. And it's something I done told y'all about before. Everybody like, man, he was like, y'all know we needed a rest. Like, people look at the Sabbath as it's just a day for you to lay in the bed and sleep all day and do absolutely nothing. And that's not what it's about. Like when he said, hey, cease from your labor, he telling you put your will to the side and come one day out the week and honor me for the continuous purpose of that particular day. Now, we don't even do that. You got congregations that start, no cap, 7 o'clock in the morning and go till the sun go down. Straight word. The average person ain't with that. Because you want to lay in the bed, you want to slob, you want to fart, because you think when he say rest, it's about you sleeping all day. And it's not. He didn't turn around and say his Shabbat was a set apart gathering for the purpose of niggas just laying in the bed sleeping all day. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just about, oh, you needed one day off out the week because you working all the time. That was not what it was about. It was about a set apart day for you to come and pay homage and respect to your maker. You know what I'm saying? That's really what he formulated for. And then also on another level, pointing to the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach and that how you can cease from your own works and your own desires, how you can gain everlasting life. But see, all we look at it is it's one day out the week. I can't buy nothing. I can't sell nothing. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't go to work. Instead of actually looking about what it was actually formulated for. That's why so many people complain about the stuff on the Shabbat and what can we do and what we can't do, because you ain't even looking at what he made it for and what it would point you to. It doesn't absolve you from certain responsibilities and requirements. But once you understand what it is actually made for and its purpose, it's a delight. You ain't sitting back looking at, you know the part we look at, this man know you got 6 days you going through, you can still hit the synagogue. You know, people worship, talk the word in the land every day of the week. But then one day out of the week, you can come get a word. Like it's guaranteed. This the only thing going down in the land. Come hear what the word of Yahuah is. Nobody don't even look at it that way. You don't even look at it that way. I've been working all week, man. I'm tired. Oh, man, guess what? You ain't tired. You alive, nigga. You ain't tired. Put it this way, right? If your soul ain't heavy through manifold temptations, this, that, then, and the third, you ain't tired. You just a little sluggish. Guarantee you wouldn't be tired if you took your butt to sleep instead of doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G that you didn't have to do. Because some people just sit up all night long. You know you need to go to sleep. Take your butt to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this man day it's about coming to get a word from him, learning of him, being taught of him unencumbered of any distractions, cares, or nothing. Just about him. That's it. Of course, people have made it about the person who teaching the word and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, it's about him. Luke 19:1. Yahushua entered and passed through Jericho, and behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, which was the chief among the publicans. He was rich, and he was rich. He sought to see Yahushua, who he was, and could not for the press, because he was little of stature. He ran before and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was to pass by that way. See, we talk about this. Do you know how much you got to believe on a man that you climbed up in a tree just so you could see him? Not so you could hear him, but so you could see him. So you could see him. Because you knew who he was. This is a man who mired in his transgressions. He already know. Boy, I got to see him. Look what the master do. When Yahushua came to the place, he looked up and saw him and said unto him, Zacchaeus, make haste, come down, for today I must abide at thy house. And he made haste and came down and received him joyfully. Made it hard happy, but the Lord said he need to come to my house. Do you know what he was sitting back looking at? I'm finna get a word tonight. I'm finna get a word tonight. Look what he told them. And when they saw it, they all murmured, saying that he was going to be a guest with a man that is a sinner. Zacchaeus stood and said unto the Lord, Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor. And if I've taken anything from any man by false accusation, I restore him fourfold. Yahushua said unto him, This day is salvation come to this house, for as much as he is also a son of Abraham. And we talked about that on Wednesday. For the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which is lost. So based in this action of what he just did, and he gave him the word on top of this, that if they would have known, believe the word, that's why he said, if you ain't believe Moses, how you going to believe me? See, if you don't believe the first half of the book, you're not going to believe the second. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So come on, Ezekiel chapter 34. That's just not what's going to happen. You're not going to believe the totality of the book. Oh, excuse me. You're not going to believe it. That's just not what's going to happen. Oh, man. I want you to pick this up at verse 11 of the 34th chapter of Ezekiel. Look at what he say. If they'd have believed the word, they would have known when he told them that, shoot, but he lost. He in his sin. Pause. Psalms 119. Just for another witness what we talking about. Psalms 119. I'll pick you up at 174. Psalms 119 and 174. Psalms 119 and 174. I didn't make it 169. I ain't gonna hurt nothing. He said, let my cry come near before thee, O Yahuah, give me understanding according to thy word. Let my supplication come before thee, deliver me according to thy word. My lips shall utter praise when thou hast taught me thy statutes. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. Let thy hand help me, for I have chosen thy precepts. Now, when we see Zacchaeus climbing up in this tree, this is exactly what we're looking at. I have longed for thy salvation, O Yahuah. Thy Torah is my delight. You notice the reason why we said it. He said if he defrauded a man, he paid him back fourfold. Like he mentioned things that was in law. If you know what I'm talking about, go read Ezekiel 18 where it detailed that. He said, you know, if I did this here, I turn from it. I ain't do it no more. So you're seeing that he had a delight in obeying this. He believed what was in the word. Let my soul live and it shall praise thee. Let thy judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek thy servant, for I do not forget thy commandment. He said, I went astray like a lost sheep. He said, seek me. Seek me. He said, I came to seek those which are lost. See, if they would have known the word and believed the word in the first half, and they seen him doing this, that's why he say, I told you and you didn't believe me. My works bear witness of me. If they would have believed a word when they seen him doing it, they wouldn't even doubt it in their mind by who he was. That wouldn't even happen. See, now it's a little different. Come over to Isaiah 53 real fast. And then after that, 1 Peter chapter 1. We're going to come back to Ezekiel 34. Just a couple things ran through my head real quick. Isaiah 53 and 4. And then 1 Peter chapter 1 about verse 5, I want to say. Before we slide back to this Ezekiel 34. Because one of the things, if you believe this here, right? So you got to look at it, right? You ain't see Yahushua in the flesh. You ain't see it. That's why he say, blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Because if you believe this text and you see that this word is a marriage, read, say, seek you out the book of Yahuah and read. Every one of these shall have her mate. Ain't not nan one of them gonna fail. Then you'll sit back and see that truly this is the Son of the living Elohim, and Yahuah is the creator of all things. And you would live accordingly. You know, the just shall live by their faith. He said, you know, write it down in the book. And though it tarry, wait for it. Wait for it. That's what he said. Do you believe it? I can't answer that. Only you can. He says, surely he have borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Elohim, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our shalom was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and Yahuah hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. So, come on back to Ezekiel 1 Peter, right? So you see, we went astray and we went to do our own thing. So he had to put this man's your sins on this man. He had to wear that. He had to carry that. He had to bear that for you. That's why he say those of you that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, as a Mashiach did. See, and if they would have noticed and seen that, and again, that's another essence of believing all things. There's a lot of stuff we don't went over before over the course of time. You know, we do need to bring back to remembrance some of these things, because it had been many, many a moon. I forgot who I was talking to, telling them that. Oh, yeah. That was Tavon, man. There was a time period when, and it's a little shy of that now. Now it's 173. But there was a period where, we went over the word 185 times in a calendar year. 185 times. 3 times a week, new moons, every feast. 185 times. Now we had like 170. We had 173. So it's a lot of things that we done went over in the course of, clearly, that volume of a workload. So I know that from time to time we need to go back and revisit certain things to keep them fresh at the forefront of your mind. And for those of you who have never heard them and have just be like, you know what, I'm overwhelmed of cycling through a library of information such as this. So yeah, we definitely gonna have to stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance from time to time. And we're about to do that right now. First Peter chapter 1, verse 5. He say, who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. Wherein you greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. That the trial of your faith, being more precious than of gold, that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found in the praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen ye love, and whom though now you see him not, yet believing you rejoice with joy unspeakable, full of esteem, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your soul. Notice what he said. You love this man, you ain't never seen him. Though you don't see him right now, you believe, and you have a rejoicing that you can't even put into words. I ain't never seen this man before. I believe in him wholeheartedly. And I'm talking about from day one. And I wasn't on the whole book was on this man. I just believe this man wholeheartedly from day one. I said, this man, he is who he says he is. Period. You know what I'm saying? That's the instant. I thank y'all for that. When we begin to have a mind of, I believe him. Like we just seen in John 8. He told them, when you see the Son of Man lifted up and people start coming to me, it said them Yahudim, them Jews that were standing right there, they believed it. Then he started talking to them. He stopped talking to everybody around him, and he started talking to them and told them, in the truth shall set you free. See, a lot of people overlook that. Say he looked on those Jews who believed on him and told them that. That's who he was talking to. He wasn't talking to everybody standing right there. He was talking to those who he knew believed the word. So when we come back to that, we come back to Ezekiel 34. When we come back and we look at what's in Ezekiel 34, in correlation of what we seen, and we in verse 11, in correlation of what we seen in Luke 19, when he told them, I came to seek those and save those that are lost. Or what did he say? I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. They should have heard these things and they should have known by his works. Oh, this the one. This the one Ezekiel told us about. Let's see why. For thus saith Yahuah Elohim, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out. As a shepherd seek out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. Hold on. Listen to what the man said. As a shepherd seek out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will I seek out my sheep and deliver them out of the places where they've been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. Pause. Twofold things for you to believe here. Number one, when he said he was among them. Matthew chapter 9. And then Luke chapter 15. I got a lot I need to get to. Y'all will not get to all of it tonight. But if not, do it y'all willing on tomorrow. Mark 9, right? Where do I want to begin? Make it 29. Make it 27. Mark 9 and 27. Matter of fact, no. Make it 24. I'll show you an example of how people believed based off what they heard. Just based off what they heard. He said unto them, give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleep. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose. And the fame hereof went abroad into all that land. So these people went to hearing about, he just raised this little girl from the dead. The news, the report. Who have believed our report? There's a report going out. And when Yahushua departed thence, two blind men followed him, crying, saying, Thou son of David, have mercy on us. And when he was coming to the house, and the blind man came to him, and Yahushua saith unto them, Believe ye that I am able to do this? Look at the question that he asked him. Do you even believe that I can do this? You know, there's a statement in Genesis chapter 18. When Sarah was like, man, I ain't gonna have no baby in my old age. He sat back and told her, is anything too hard for you? Is anything too hard for me? Is anything too hard for me? See, you know what our biggest problem is we don't have the faith or the belief in Elohim to have a hope and expectation. Because you don't believe that he can do it. See, that's the problem. And you know what I think some of that problem come in at? Because you had expectations of people and they let you down. So because these people let you down, you inherently have something in your subconscious that you believe Yah will let you down. Yah ain't never let nobody down who trusted in him. Because the book tell you, hope don't make ashamed. You ain't going to be ashamed. You got an expectation of Elohim. I can tell you that right now. You ain't going to be ashamed. You got an expectation to receive anything good from Yah. He said everything, every good gift from Shamahim come down from the Father of lights. You don't never be ashamed. You got an expectation of him. People end up ashamed not getting what they wanted this, that, and the third because you ain't had no expectation. You were double-minded. Like he said, don't expect nothing from him. You unstable. You're going to go with the flesh one day. You're going to go with the word the next day. You're going to go with the flesh for 10 minutes. You're going to go with the spirit for 30. He ain't going to answer you. He ain't going to do nothing for you. And as we mentioned, you don't get, matter of fact, pause, because I'm going to wait, because I'm going to share that with you in a moment. We done talked about it before, and we're going to stir your mind up with it again. Then what he said, right? And when he was coming to the house, and the blind men came to him, and Yahushua saith unto them, believe ye that I'm able to do this? They said unto him, yea, Lord. Then touched he their eyes, saying, according to your faith be it unto you. Look what he told them. According to what you believe on me, let that be done. If you really believe your eyes can be open, then your eyes going to be open. But if you don't, you still going to be blind. Look what happened. And their eyes were open. And Yahushua straightly charged them, saying, see that no man know it. See, that's the thing what he do. According to your faith be it unto you. Ooh, woo. Now ask yourself this question. The things you ask Yahuah, if it be according to your faith, what is he going to do for you? For more people, he ain't going to do absolutely nothing because you don't believe he could do it. Do you see how Yahushua did that with these people? He said, you believe I can do it? They said, yeah. According to your faith, let that be done. Because that's where the manifestation going to be. If you believe I can open your eyes, then your eyes shall be opened. And that's to whom the arm of Yahuah is revealed. Who have believed our report? To whom is the arm of Yahuah revealed? They heard the fame of him. They believed the report, and the arm of Yahuah, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, was shown unto them. Simple as that. See, that arm of Yahuah is not going to be revealed to no one who does not believe in him. You will not see him. You will not see him at all. See, some people got, I can see him in the scripture. Nah, you ain't see him in no scripture. You wasn't no different than them people walking around seeing him when he was walking in the flesh. You saw him. You ain't believe it, though. And you ain't got nothing coming. See, when he get revealed unto you, then he get revealed in your inward parts. When he revealed in your inward parts, that's the strength and the salvation. See, if he ain't get revealed in your inward part, you ain't seen him yet. You just heard him preach to you. You read about him, but he ain't been revealed to you. Remember what he said, he that love me and keep my commandment, he said, I and my Abba will manifest ourselves unto them and make our abode with them. Manifest means to reveal. If you keep his commandments because you believe the word, because the just live by their faith. So if you ain't believe the word, he's not going to show himself. Nevertheless, but when they were departed, they spread abroad his fame in all that country. And as they went out, behold, they brought to him a dumb man possessed with a devil. And when the devil was cast out, the dumb spake, and the multitudes marveled, saying, it was never so seen in Yasharal. But the Pharisees said he cast out devils through the prince of the devils. Yahushua went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. And what do we see in Ezekiel? Ezekiel told you, he said, as the shepherd seek out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered, so will he seek his out. So now he's amongst them. He's amongst his sheep. He see they scattered. They see this. He said, let me go get them. Luke 15. See, and this all go back to what we seen in Luke 19. And if they believed the word, they would have believed him when they saw him doing it. They would have believed him. Luke 15 and 1. and then we'll go back to Ezekiel 34. Then drew near unto him all the publicans and the sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receives sinners and eat with them. And he spake this parable unto them, saying, What man of you have 100 sheep? And if he lose one of them, doth he not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after that which is lost until he find it? And when he found it, he lay it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he come home, he called together his friends and his neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I found my sheep which was lost. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in Shamahim over one sinner that repent, more than over 99 just persons which need not repentance. So he said, look, I'm going to go get them. I'm amongst them. That's what a shepherd is going to do. I'm going to go get them. Come on back to Ezekiel 34. Verse 13. He said, I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries and bring them into their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Yasharal by the rivers and all the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in a good pasture, and upon the high mountains of Yasharal shall their fold be. There shall they lie in a good fold, in a fat pasture, and they shall feed upon the mountains of Yasharal. That's the twofold. Because now this is what he told you in John chapter 10, and this is referring to this man coming back to deliver you and bring you into a kingdom. So he just made a promise. He's telling you what exactly he is going to do. He said, I will feed my flock and I will cause them to lay down, saith Yahuah Elohim. I will seek that which is lost. I will bring again that which was driven away. I will bind up that which is broken and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong, and I will feed them with judgment. Well, Paul, let's look at what he said. He's going to destroy the fat and the strong and feed them with a little judgment. Come on, Judge, over here, John chapter 9, and let's look at it. Him seeking out the lost, individual believing in because of his word. All that. Praise y'all for the word. That's all I can tell you. Maury, get in the bed, because I see your head. Maury, bed. I see you. Get in the bed. That boy, that churlish. John 9 and 1. Come on, walk on over here then. You a big girl. Ah, you gave up. And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he were born blind? Yahushua answered, Neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Elohim should be manifest in him. So the work of faith was to be manifested in this man. He ain't did nothing. His parents ain't did nothing. It's so that you might believe. Pause. Psalm 78. What you got, little baby? Son, you know you ain't supposed to have. That's what you got. Psalm 78 and 1. Come here, little baby. I see you. Come on. You gonna stand up? You gonna walk over here? I guess not. Psalm 78 and 1. Give ear, O my people, to my Torah. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. And I will open my mouth in a parable. And I will utter dark sayings of old, which you have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahuah and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. For he have established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a Torah in Yasharal, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known unto our children, to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their hope in Elohim and not forget the works of Elohim, but keep his commandment, that you might set that they might set their hope in Elohim. That they might just set their hope in Elohim. So remember this, establishing a testimony, opening his mouth in parables and uttering dark sayings was the purpose for you to believe it, that your hope might be in Yah and not in man, that you might believe the word, that you might trust the word. Oh, please, please, just cough in my face, won't you? Thank you. Back to John chapter 9. I surely appreciate you coughing in my face there. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your germs. I appreciate that. Would you like to get down now? You look like you want to get down. Would you like to get down? Yes. Bye-bye, little baby. Verse 5 of John chapter 9. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground, made clay of the spittle, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. So now he didn't open his eyes. We can move down a little bit because we don't need to read all the things about them questioning this man. I guess we can start at verse 11, though, because I just feel like sharing. They brought to the Pharisees him aforetime that was blind. And it was a Shabbat when Yahushua made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. And he said unto them, he put clay upon my eyes, and I washed, and do see. Let's sit back and look at that. He put what? Clay. Now clay is also going to be what? You know, that's more. You know, that's dirt. You know that what's his name is? Adam was made from the dust of the ground or from the clay. You know they talk about it all the time up there in Georgia, that red clay. I dig some red clay in Tallahassee. That's some hard soil to get a shovel through. I can tell you that. But notice he said he took the clay, washed, and he did see. See, pause. Thank y'all for the word. Come over here to Acts 22. I didn't want to sit back and see it right. You a man, because when you put on Yahushua, you put, hey, little boy, I see you. Put the toy down and get in the bed. I can see you. I can literally see you. It ain't even like you sticking your head out there like you trying to listen. You playing with a Tonka truck. That boy, they got some strong lungs, I can tell you that. 22 and 10. Make it 22 and 8. Or 22 and 7. And he fell into the ground and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me? And I answered, Who art thou, Lord? And he said unto me, I am Yahushua of Nazareth, whom thou persecute. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, Arise, go into Damascus, and there shall be told of thee all things which are appointed for thee to do. And when he could not see for the esteem of the light, being led by the hand of them that were with him, I came into Damascus. So, of course, you know, he's blind himself. And he was made blind for the same reason that the man in John was made blind. And this was for the purpose that the works of Elohim might be manifested in this man. That's it. That you might believe. One Ananias, a devout man according to Torah, having a good report of all the Yahudim which dwelt there, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And that same hour I looked upon him. And he said, The Elohim of our fathers have chosen thee, that thou should know his will, and see that just one, and should hear the voice of his mouth. For thou shalt be his witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. And why not? And now why tarry thou? Arise and be immersed and wash away thy sins, calling on the name of the Lord. So what do you see from that? He say, hey, man, took a little clay, washed him, and he could see. He made him blind, wash him with the word so he could see. Now go wash away your sins by getting immersed. Open his eyes so he could see. See, he didn't believe me till he seen. He seen me, now he believed me. So guess what? Everybody who seen Paul, and they were like, you know, this is the person. No, excuse me. Matter of fact, let's go to Acts 9 with that. I think I need to go to 9 with that, to what I was just thinking about in my head. That's definitely not in 22. And again, who was the arm of Yahuah revealed? But it was revealed to one who believed it. 9 and 20. Act of the Apostles, 9 and 20. And straightway he preached Hamashiach in the synagogues that he is the son of Elohim. But all that heard him were amazed and said, Is this not he that destroyed them which called on his name in Jerusalem? and came hither for the intent that he might bring them bound unto the chief priests. But Saul increased the more in strength and confounded the Yahudim which dwelt at Damascus, proving that this is the very Hamashiach. How did he prove it? He proved it with the scriptures. That's how he proved it. Go read Acts 28. Look at what he said. They said after his eyes were opened, the arm of Yahuah has been revealed. He done believed the report. He telling these people this man is the son of Elohim, and now he got them confused. He got them amazed because he going in the script showing them. So guess what? This is not too far removed from this man's death and resurrection. These people know they were directly involved in his killing. And saying after that many days were fulfilled, the Yahudim took counsel to kill him. But their laying await was known of Saul, and they watched the gates day and night to kill him. Then the disciples took him by night and let him down by the wall in a basket. And when Saul was come to Jerusalem, he essayed himself to join himself to the disciples. They were all afraid of him and believed not that he was a disciple. But Barnabas took him and brought him to the apostles and declared unto him how he had seen the Lord in the way, and that how he had spoken to him, and how he had preached boldly at Damascus in the name of Yahushua. And when he was with them coming in and going out of Jerusalem, and he spake boldly in the name of the Master Yahushua, and disputed against the Grecians, but they went about to slay him. Which when the brethren knew, they brought him down to Caesarea and sent him forth to Tarsus. Then all the synagogues rest throughout all Yehuda and Galilee and Samaria were edified, walking in the fear of Yahuah, and the comfort of the Ruach HaKadosh were multiplied. So when they sat back and they seen that this man was preaching boldly the gospel, preaching in the name of Yahushua, preaching Hamashiach, people wanted to kill him for it. People wanted to kill him for it. They wanted to kill this man for it. You don't see nobody wanting to kill nobody talking about preaching you an Israelite. Don't let these niggas lie to you and think these people walk around want to kill you for that, because that's just a nigga inflated in his ego. That's just somebody inflated in his ego. Because in John chapter 7, this man say, I'm the light of the world. The world cannot hate you. He say the world hate me because I testify of it that its works are evil. See, when you preach Yahushua to bring a medical, like as we talked about with that word Shemawah for report, with that Shana, it cuts. That gospel cut to the heart. This is what make people want to hate. This is what make people not like you. When you're dealing with a true gospel, that junk, it cuts. People won't be fooled up with you. They won't be fooled up with you. And that's the power of Elohim. Nevertheless, John chapter 9, not that you cutting them, but it's the power of Elohim to how they don't want to humble themselves unto his mighty hand according to his word. Because they ain't got nothing to do with you. Let that be known. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody. It's just strictly Elohim. Let's let that be known. Verse 16 of John chapter 9. Therefore said some of the Pharisees, this man is not of Elohim, because he keep not Shabbat. Others said, how can a man that is a sinner do such miracles? And there was a division among them. Listen how these people sit back and look at that. They say he can't be the son of Elohim. He ain't keeping the Shabbat. He healing people. The other people looking at, come on, bro. What type of transgressor can do that? Because see, I'm going to tell you something real. Y'all don't give his gifts to sinners. Let that be known. He does not give his gifts to sinners. So you know how a lot of people gonna get tricked, like we talked about before. Niggas gonna be doing signs and wonders and all this type of stuff. But you gonna know that some of these people is transgress. See, let me tell you something, man. I've been telling y'all this for the longest, man. Y'all ain't enough for these people. He wasn't enough for your forefathers. Let me put it this way. He wasn't enough for the people in the time of Noah. That's why he flooded the earth. He wasn't enough for Esau. He wasn't enough for your forefathers in the wilderness. He wasn't enough for your forefathers in the land. And he ain't enough for people now. That's why everybody want to be gods and they want to be goddesses and they want to be kings and queens and empresses and you know what I'm talking about? Supreme Hotep this and this, that, there, and the third. And I'm my pineal gland and I'm centering my shock because y'all ain't enough for them. Because see, with y'all, you got to pause. 1 Peter chapter 5. See, that's what you got to do with y'all. That's why he ain't enough for them. See, people won't do that. See, people won't do this right here. That's why he ain't enough for them. See, people want to be everything but a son and daughter of Elohim. Y'all don't never notice that? Everybody want to be everything but that. Because this is what it take to be a son or daughter of Elohim. That's why they don't want to do it. 1 Peter 5 and 6. See, this is what it take. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Elohim, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he care for you. See, that's what nobody want to do. Come on, Jack John chapter 9. See, that's what nobody want to do. Humble yourself so you can be exalted. See, I want to exalt myself right now. See, I got self-esteem issues. See, I need to be validated by the people and by the crowd. I need validation. I need someone to tell me how smart I am, how handsome I am, how beautiful I am, how fine I am, how big my muscles are, how big my butt is, how big my titties is, how pretty my face is, how rich I am, how intelligent I am. I'm such a scholar. See, I need someone to exalt me. See, if I got to become a son or daughter of Elohim, I got to decrease so he can increase. See, that's what's got to happen. In order for Mashiach to increase in you, you got to decrease. You got to move yourself out of the way. That's what John the Baptist said. He said, I must decrease so he can increase. He already know this one, he preferred before me because he was before me. See, John believed that, so he had no problem. Let me decrease and step to the side. Because this the man coming through to make it do what it do. I ain't nothing but a vessel. I'm just here to do the word. To let you know this who you need to look at. This who you need to believe in. This who you need to trust. What people about? Look at my watch. Look at my car. I'm getting money. I'm famous. Look at all the women who want to be with me. Look at all the men who try to holler at me. That's somebody got low self-esteem. That's somebody who got that really, really has a problem mentally because they seek outside validation instead of the validation of the person who created them. How could you ever humble yourself under his hand? How could you ever believe his word? You're filled with pride and vainglory. It's impossible. It's impossible. It is impossible. This is why I keep telling you, that's why righteousness is hated in the earth. Because righteousness doesn't seek to bring any honor and esteem to itself. Righteousness does not seek to bring a name, nor needs validation of any human being. That's a secureness. That's why when you look at the and it's to secure the nail. I'm secure in my God. See, that's what happened when you crucify yourself with the Son of the living Elohim. You're secure with Elohim. You know who you are in him. You have no need for validation from men. You have no need for it. You could care less. As long as I'm secure in my Elohim. See, and if you're secure, when you sit back, let's just sit back and pause and think about it for a moment. Pause. Follow me now. We're still talking word now. If you know the word, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying. Follow what I'm saying. You look at the the peg, the nail, the securing. You know, Yahushua knew that he was going to be crucified. He knew that he was supposed to die. For the sins of the world, for the redemption of man. He knew his father told him, I'm going to resurrect you from the dead. So because of that confidence that he had, he was willing to be nailed to that stake. I'm secure in my Abba, because remember, I and my Abba are one. My Abba is in me, and I am in my Abba. So when you notice, when you have this level of confidence that you're secure, like he doesn't care nothing about, he's casting out devils by the prince of devils. He said, if your children cast them out, you be the judge. He said, but if not, then the kingdom of Elohim has come unto you. Look at all the things that they said to the man and how he reacted. Who give you the authority to do these things? See, an insecure person, an unconfident person, a person who doesn't know who they serve and what their purpose is in that person whom they serve and who sent them, is going to go back and forth with them. What you mean how I get my authority? I got to show you, I got to prove myself that I am this. He said, if you answer me this, then I'll tell you by what authority I do this. When they came in and said, what y'all doing plucking this corn? He said, hold on. He said, if you would have known this, you wouldn't have condemned the guiltless. He said, you ain't never read about David? You ain't never read that? You ain't never read that, huh? There's so many things I got to say about it. Even the situation, look, he eating with publicans and sinners. Oh, so a shepherd don't go seek out the one sheep that's lost out the 99 that go astray? That's what you telling me? Oh, how you heal this woman on Shabbat? So you mean to tell me this woman who's been bound by Hashatan for these 18 years, that she shouldn't be loose from this on the Shabbat? That's the confidence and securing in who he is in his Elohim, that I have no need to validate myself to you people. See, we live in a world where people seek validation from other people so much that when they see someone being accosted, denigrated, you know what I'm saying? Mocked or whatever the case may be, and this person doesn't come with an onslaught to defend themselves, they automatically look at these things very well may be true because this person is not seeking validation from the people around them, from the people watching, from the peanut gallery, if you will. And when you have crucified yourself with Yahushua HaMashiach, you're secure in him. You know who you are in him. And he is in you. And therefore you and him are in Elohim, are in Abba. And therefore you are perfect in one. Therefore you would know his perfect will. You would hear his voice. And you would see his just one. And your sins are washed away. Why would you need validation from a man? You wouldn't, because you believe the words. You'd seek that validation from Elohim. That's why he said in John 5:44, we read it 3 times a week, 12 times a month. How can you believe which receive honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? That's why a lot of people can't believe, because you want validation one from another. You don't want the validation that comes from Elohim only. You don't want that. So because you don't want that, you can't believe. Therefore, you're powerless to overcome your flesh. You're powerless to overcome sin. You're powerless to overcome death, and you will perish. Because there is no condemnation to those that are in Yahushua HaMashiach, who walk in the Ruach and not in the flesh. No condemnation whatsoever, period. You didn't see Paul running around trying to validate himself. The people came for him, he preached Yahushua the Mo. I don't have to prove myself to you people. I don't have to do that. You only do that when your confidence is low. You only do that when your confidence is low, when you're not secure. When you're secure, you don't do that. Secure people don't care what anybody thinks or says about them. I'm secure in who I am. Remember, insecure by definition is just lack of confidence. It's just lack of confidence. And we're insecure in our God because we lack confidence in him. So we need to begin to secure ourselves with that tent, with that nail and that peg. And please keep that in mind, because that's coming up in a moment. Always a segue. It's going to be a delayed segue, but a segue nonetheless. We can be able to achieve all things in him. Nevertheless, John chapter 9, verse 17. They said unto the blind man, what say thou of him? He opened thy eyes. He said, he is a prophet. But the Yahudim did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind and received his sight, until they called the parents of him that received his sight. So now they sit back, they go to asking his parents, they say, shoot, he grown, he could speak for himself. So, verse 24. Then again called the man that was blind and said unto him, give Elohim praise. We know that this man is a sinner. He answered and said, whether he be a sinner or not, or no, I know not. One thing I know, whereas I was blind, now I see. Then they said to him again, what did he to thee? How opened he thine eyes? He answered them, I've told you already, and you did not hear. Wherefore would you hear it again? Will you also be his disciples? They reviled him and said, thou art his disciple, but we are Moses' disciple. Look at what he told. He said, if I told you again, would you hear? Would you follow him then if I told you again? Because see, he's persuaded, he's convinced. And it goes to show you that the belief is come from hearing the word, hearing the news, hearing the report. This is still going, who have believed our report? They're getting a report, he opened the eyes of a blind man. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe he was blind to begin with. They said, let me talk to his parents. I don't believe it. Verse 35. Make it 31. He said, now we know that Elohim hear not sinners. But if any man be a worshiper of Elohim and do his will, him he hear. Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was born blind? If this man were not of Elohim, he could do nothing. They answered and said unto him, thou wert altogether born in sins, and dost thou teach us? And they cast him out. Look at, they don't even want to hear the word. That man said, this man of Elohim, he couldn't do nothing. They say, you was altogether born in sins. You can't tell us nothing. That's a hard heart, impudent and hard-hearted. He said they're not going to hearken unto you because they don't listen to me. Because what that man told him, he ain't told him nothing but what the word said. He supposed to be doctors and experts and teachers of the word. They didn't know this. Yahushua heard that they cast him out, and when he found him, he said unto him, dost thou believe on the son of Elohim? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I might believe on him? Yahushua said unto him, thou hast both seen him, and he it is that talk with thee. And he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. Yahushua said, for judgment I've come into this world, that they which see not might see, and that they which see might be made blind. And some of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, are we blind also? Yahushua said unto them, if you were blind, you would have no sin. But now ye say, we see. Therefore your sin remain. Now, why do we read all of that? Because that's exactly what's in Ezekiel 34. When we sit back and he said he will destroy the fat and the strong and feed them with judgment. Because he said is that I came to those of you that's blind, say that you see that you be made blind, because you weren't seeking those that were lost. And you weren't binding up the broken, and you weren't strengthening those that were sick. See, we could go back at the top of Ezekiel 34, right? And he say, woe to them shepherds, because they feed themselves. Shouldn't the shepherds feed the flock? They eat the fat, they clothe with the wool. You kill them that are fed, but you feed not the flock. The disease you don't strengthen. You ain't healed them which is sick. You ain't bound up that which was broken. You ain't brought again them that were driven away. You ain't sought them which was lost, but you're ruling them with force and cruelty. And that's what these men were doing. That's why we read that, because he said, Matt, tell him, I'm going to come see you. This is what I'm here for, to come see you. I'm here to tighten you up. Why do you think he kept telling the scribes and Pharisees, woe, woe, woe all the time? Because it's woe to the idle shepherd. This is what he got to do to him. This is what he got to do to him. This is what he got to do to him. Of course, you know, verse 23 tell you have one shepherd, even of the stock of David. And he shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd, and Yah will be their Elohim, and my servant David be a prince among them. And I spoke it, and that was going to happen. Seeing if they would have known the word when he said, I came to seek those that are lost, they would have known that. And they would have believed him, because they've seen his works would have manifested. He the shepherd in Ezekiel. When I mentioned what was in Isaiah 53 about him carrying your iniquities. And see, they should have known that when Ezekiel 12 told you that. Let's go and grab it for you. Ezekiel 12. I say we got to bring certain stuff back to you. Remember, let's go ahead and bring it. 12 and 6. They should have known that. And when they seen the work, they should have believed. Ezekiel 12 and 6. He said, in their sight thou shalt bear it upon thy shoulders, and carry it forth in the twilight, and thou shalt cover thy face, thou shalt not see the ground, for I have set thee for a sign unto Yasharal. And I did so as I was commanded forth. I brought forth my stuff by day, and that stuff for captivity, and even digged through the wall with my hand, and I brought it forth in the twilight, and I bare it upon my shoulder in their sight. And when they seen that man carrying that stake on his shoulder, they supposed to know. Oh, his work, he talking. You know, we all use the phrase, actions speak louder than words. Yahushua preached the gospel. For the most part, he showed them the gospel by what he was doing, that he was fulfilling the word. And they didn't believe it. He said, you asked me, am I the son of Elohim? I said, I told you, and you didn't believe me. Say, my works bear witness of me. You don't believe it. So now we, like I said, we get into our time. We didn't see any of this. You weren't in Galilee. You weren't in Yehudah. You weren't in Jerusalem. You didn't see him on the tree. You didn't see the sun make the cloud, the cloud make the sun disappear. You didn't see the temple break and the veil be rent. You didn't see the people who got up out the grave after his resurrection. You didn't see none of that. You didn't see him open the eyes of the blind. You didn't see none of that. You didn't see your fathers cross through the Red Sea. You didn't see the Egyptians' firstborn get killed. You didn't see Yahushua, son of Nun, make the sun stand still. You ain't see none of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you look at a lot of the ploy, like Mahomes might say, like, you know, like he was like, you know, NASA is set up to make people not believe in Yah. But, and it could very well could have a factor. But at the end of the day, it don't be none of this outside stuff. This is just me talking. This is my personal opinion. I don't care what these people got going on in this world and what they can show you in this, that, there, and the third. Niggas just don't believe it. Niggas trust more in celebrities than doing their own God. I'm talking about black people. Disgustingly sad. You trust in celebrities more than you trust in your own God. You hang on their every word and every move more than your own God. What if we looked at righteous people as an example of what to look at and aspire to versus some rotten, no good sinners who really don't do anything other than entertain you? Like, I've never understood why black people hold entertainers in such a high regard, and athletes as well. Because when you strip away at the core what they're doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing of note. So the only thing I can think of is that you're just enamored with their wealth. That's it. You're just enamored with their wealth. And you wish that you could live the life that they live. Which means you wish you clearly must want to go to hell, because that's where they headed. Do you know what I'm saying? We put too much stock in people who absolutely contribute absolutely nothing, and we scream that that's our culture. You know, that's the sad part, that every time we talk about do it for the culture, for the most part, our culture is always entertainment and athletic based. That we don't have any culture outside of entertainment and athletics. We don't have anybody amongst our people making any contributions to society other than running, jumping, and singing, dancing, or rapping, or playing pretend for a living. That don't bother us. We don't sit back and look at that and say, you know what? We got to do better. Every time, hey, look, and we say this all the time, every time a black person see a child with some height on him, oh, that boy, that's going to be a basketball player. He got a little bit of girth on him, oh, that boy going to be a football player. Why are you already regulating this child to a menial existence to be used as a pawn for 5 to 10 years and cast away when his body? Why don't nobody look at that little boy and say, you know what, he could be a preacher, Elohim, maybe a prophet of Yah, maybe that man could be a business owner, maybe he could be this or be that. The first thing you want to do is make him an athlete or an entertainer. That's the first thing we want to throw them trying to do. Why? Why do you have such low expectations of your child that you don't even encourage him to do something greater than singing? Because at the end of the day, you allow that idiot box to tell you that junk ain't that big of a deal. Niggas say, okay, you look at business-wise, and nigga go on a world tour, sell out a lot of seats, or whatever. Okay, so what? What did he really do? You paid thousands of dollars to listen to a nigga perform a song you could have put in your CD player, cut on your MP3, or put in your aux cord and listen in the car, in the house. And you paid thousands of dollars for it. And then be sitting and get excited about how you made a nigga uber rich. Like, straight up, like, that's the mind. And I'm just talking about our mind frame, our perspective on the matter. Man, if you want to go to a show, go to a show. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's your personal business. But I'm talking about how we view that. Like, what did this person really do for the contribution of black people by going on a 50-city world tour? What did he do for black people? At the end of the day, what did he do? Niggas love Michael Jackson. This nigga just sang and danced. That's what the nigga did. He didn't do nothing above that. Yeah, you might go do this stuff here and give a little bit of money here and there. And people are like, well, it's just music. But at the end of the day, what is music really contributing to society? Like, what is that? If music is that great of a big of a deal, our people wouldn't be so broken down and destroyed as they is now. Some people feel like music plays a role. It may do play a role. It may not play a role. I'm not one of those people that feel like a lot of people music play a lot of role other than it's really just manifesting thoughts and goings that people already had anyway. Like niggas who listen to music and want to be a gangster. You not a gangster. Stop listening to the music pretending to be a gangster because you don't want to live that life. You never wanted to live that life. You just want to act it out when you're listening to a record. Which means you have to look at yourself inwardly when it comes to that. That's not you. That's not you. Not on that. You not finna stand on no corner. You not finna shoot at nobody. You definitely not finna go to jail. You don't want nothing to do with none of that stuff these niggas talking about. And we know them niggas ain't doing none of that stuff neither. Like I say, in the beginning days of hip hop, a lot of them niggas were flogging. A lot of them niggas was living that life for real. Like they were really speaking from their experiences of what they lived or their peer group around them. You know what I'm saying? Now we know all these niggas flogging. So it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. So then we have to sit back and look at it as why are we so entertained with fakeness? Because music is supposed to be a reflection of life, the bearing of one's soul. Do you know what I'm saying? Now that junk just corny. You know what I'm saying? And we happy with corny. You know what I'm saying? We're happy with the stupidity and ignorance on a high level and deluding ourselves to be like, that's some good music. We know that junk trash. You just like the what's the word I'm looking for? You just like the soundtrack. You just like the The sonicness of, the sound of it. You don't care for what they talking about because you know that junk asinine. You wouldn't teach none of that stuff to your children even if you wasn't in the word. And we didn't talk about that before. The saddest part is our people used to sit back and let us listen to music at an age that you ain't have no business listening to none of that garbage. As forth as what is, because your mind is impressionable. So you already sit back and look at if you hear these records and then you in an environment where what's in these records are actually going down, you might have a proclivity to actually partake in that behavior. But for the most part, most people who listen to the level of hip hop that we were listening to, them niggas wasn't doing none of that stuff and wasn't gonna dare do it. It's kind of like how they used to put it, how the white people, when 50 got big and they was like, all white people wanted to be black, but they didn't want to live black. They wanted to dress like black people, talk like black people, but they didn't want to go in the ghettos and slums and projects where you live and actually be black and actually feel your experience. That's how niggas listen to Flodge and talking about, I see that thing. You leave me alone. I'm a drug dealer in my head. Get your lame behind up out of here. Because you don't want to live that life because it's miserable. It's miserable. Them niggas might get on them raps and talk all that. That life is miserable. It's very few rappers who rhyme about that and tell you about the other side of it. That junk ain't like how them niggas be flogging on them. Niggas be hating their life. They trying to find a way up out of that. And you got cornball niggas want to go be that. When you got the real ones who doing it, who trying to get up out of it. Like, that's backwards. I was locked up with a dude like that. Nigga was hustling to be cool. I said, you deserved all 5 years you got, you ignorant bastard, you. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the dumbest nigga in the world trying to be cool. Now look where you at. Lucky for you, you had a minimum security prison. You could have been somewhere, nigga could have been trying to bust your cheeks right now. Nigga could be busting your head for your commissary. Nigga could be extorting you right now. Nigga could be stabbing you right now. Because you wanted to be cool. Because you thought that was cool. Man, that junk is retarded. It's retarded. You know what I'm saying? That's why that little boy locked up right now. No, I want to be an entertainer, but I want to pretend to be something I'm not. Now, they just did that for another reason, but it's real life people who are not famous, who've been incarcerated just like because I want to be down. Because I want to project to be something that I'm not. But it's real life consequences for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we really realize that, there's consequences and repercussions for the things that you do. You know what I'm saying? It's no shame if that's not you. It's always better just to be who you are. And that's what we're talking about being confident and being secure. When you're confident and secure, you don't have a need to emulate or want to be like anyone or live a life that is contrary to your character and your personality. So if you say you secure in the living Elohim, then you don't care about trying to be anything about what the crowd got going on. I'm just concerned about being a son and daughter of Elohim. That's all that matters. Mark chapter 11. Well, you all right over there, one? Sound like you about to go night-night. Mark chapter 11. And in the morning as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter called to remembrance, saith unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursed is withered away. Yahushua answering saith unto them, have faith in Elohim. Now remember, he walked by a fig tree, he ain't had no fruit. He said, don't let it grow nothing. Let that thing dry up and die. Because I was looking for some fruit off that tree. And it wasn't none. But let's sit back and pause and think about that said parable. Let's pull that parable for, say, what it is, man. Luke 11, is it Luke 11? Let me pull that up. Let's pull that up real quick. That's not Luke 11. You have to recall what it is. It escapes me. Press Luke 13. No, it's not Luke 13. That's the other. He used it in a different. He used what I just said, but I need the other one. I need the other one. The other one. Oh, there we go. I was tripping. Mark 11 and 12. And on the morrow, When they would come to Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off having leaves, he came, if happily he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of the figs was not yet. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, no man eat fruit of these hereafter. And his disciples heard it. So why is those words important? Because when you remember in Matthew 13, he says that seed fall in the ground. And those that hear the word and understand it and do it, bring forth fruit, some 30, some 60, some 90-fold. We've seen the seed that fell amongst the thorns that was choked off because the cares and affairs of this world, life choked off the word that it couldn't bring forth no fruit. And we've seen the seed that fell amongst the stones because it didn't have no root in itself. So when persecution and tribulation arrived because of the word, by and by they were offended. And then you see the seed by the wayside because they heard the word and understand it not. So Satan came and took away what was sown in their heart. But again, when you look at that, what that good ground, they believed the word. So when Yahushua came through, he was going to find some fruit on you. So what is that fruit? Because remember now, unless it fall on the ground and died, abide alone. But if it died, let's see if it fall on the ground and abide alone. But if it died, bring forth much fruit. So he come around this fig tree, which is you. And he finds that joy, and he finds that meekness, and he finds that long suffering, and he finds that faith, and he finds that love, and he finds that joy, and he finds that self-control, and he finds that goodness. Is because you heard the word and believed it. And because you heard the word and believed it, you went and did it, and it brought forth the manifestation of the fruit that you believed that he could pick up that fruit and enjoy it. But if he comes by you and he finds no fruit, no joy, no peace, no long suffering, no self-control, no faith, that man gonna tell you to dry up, wither up, and die. Think about that. And that's why he told them when he said he cursed the fig tree and it withered away, he told them have faith in Elohim. Listen what he said in verse 23. For truly I say unto you that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast in the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. See, a lot of people sit back and say, I got a faith. Like I said, that's why Paul mentioned if I had a faith that moved mountains. Meaning that if you ask this man of something, that'll take us back to what we read earlier, he say, let it be done according to your faith. If you ask of this man of something and you believe that he can do it, it's done. Now let me show you something. 1 Kings chapter 3. Because see, we were talking about this last night too. See, a lot of times, y'all go to asking the Most High for selfish stuff. So you really want stuff for yourself. See, we're going to look at something, and again, this is bringing something up for remembrance. Stirring up your pure minds, if you will. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 5. In Gibeon, Yahuah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. Elohim asked, what shall I give thee? Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth and righteousness and uprightness of heart with thee. Thou hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. And now, O Yahuwah my Elohim, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? Listen what it says. And in the speech pleased Yahuwah that Solomon asked this thing. It pleased Yah that of all the things that he could have asked him for, he asked this man for a wise and understanding heart to know the difference between good and bad. He could have asked him for anything. See, that take us, pause. See, this take us back to James. But let me finish this here first. Let me do this here first. Elohim said unto him, because thou hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither hast asked riches for thyself, nor hast asked the life of thine enemies, but thou hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I've done according to thy words. Lo, I've given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall there arise any like unto thee. And I've also given thee thou which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee all thy days. Let's sit back and look at that. he asked for something that not only was going to really, for all intents and purposes, was going to benefit other people other than himself. He says, since you did that, I'm going to give you what you didn't ask for. But see, come over here to James chapter 4. See, this is where a lot of people get in trouble with. See, y'all ask for stuff that you desiring, and that's why he don't give it to you. And see, when then he don't give it to you, then you sitting back looking at, man, he ain't real, because I asked for this and I asked for that, and he didn't do it. Now, Hamashiach did make the statement, if you believe and don't doubt in your heart, he will do it. But you also got to ask for things that'll be according to his will. See, sometimes you can ask this man for something according to your desires, and he give it to you, and it's according to his will for you to be destroyed. Remember, we done seen that before with Amaziah. So you got to be careful. When you know the old saying, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. James 4:1. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. From whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence even of your lust at war in your members? Ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have and cannot obtain. You fight in war, yet you have not, because you ask not. And you ask and receive not, because you ask amiss, that you may consume it upon your lust. See, that's the whole key thing. See, and people don't realize that. He telling you, you ask, come over here to Haggai. We always got to pull this Haggai 1 and 5 out periodically throughout the course of the year, because it's important. Same thing with James telling you, Haggai finna tell you. See, look at the thing what Solomon did. He didn't ask amiss to consume it upon his lusts and desires. He didn't do that. See, he believed in Yah, so he wanted a thing that was possible for him to be able to judge Yah's people correctly. Because it was more important for him that righteousness go forth than for me to get riches and honor and women and killing people, because Yah give you all of that. Remember he said, right? Seek the kingdom first and he'll add these things unto you. That's what you see with Solomon. Solomon wasn't concerned with all of that. He said, what you worried about this, that, there, and the there for? He said, you know what I'm saying? I give you all that. And that's what he did with Solomon. All Solomon was worried about, let me get a wise and understanding heart so I can discern between good and bad and execute judgment. Let me get that. Let me get my hands on that, because that's more important to me. He said, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. See, most people, they go to y'all, can I have a wife? I want some money. I need a new car. This, that, and the third. He said, yeah, you didn't want to consume that on your lust. I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you that. You know why I'm not giving you that? Because once you consume it upon your desires, your insatiable desire to, because the flesh is never satisfied. So you can never satiate it. So you're going to want more and more and more of your desires to be filled, and it's going to destroy you. We don't realize that. See, that's why a lot of people turn from Yah, because they asking for stuff and they asking amiss to consume it upon their lust, and he don't give it to them, and they stop believing because they never believed in the first place, because the seed was choked off and it couldn't bring forth no fruit, because they were concerned with the cares and affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches. See, when you look at it, that seed, you're more concerned about fulfilling your desires. It'd be impossible for you to believe the word, because those desires going to just choke it. Y'all remember baby boy. That I'm talking about them thorns choking that word off of you, just like he choked him out. Just like he choked him out. We could take it a step further. Y'all done ate Popeye biscuits with no beverage. You knew how you were choking. Shit ain't got to be no Popeye biscuit. You done ate bread with no beverage. You know how you get that knot in your throat eating that stuff with no beverage. Some of y'all done ate peanut butter with not enough jelly and no beverage. Now you done choked yourself. That's what them thorns doing to that word. That's what your deceit. That's what them riches and the cares and the things you lusting after and the things you desire. That's what it's doing to the word. Haggai 1 and 5. Make it 1 and 3. 1 and 2. Thus speaketh Yahuah of hosts, saying, this people say the time is not come, the time that Yahuwah's house should be built. Then came the word of Yahuah by Haggai the prophet. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore thus saith Yahuah of hosts, consider your ways. You have sown much and bring in little. But you have, now you say, you eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there's none warm. And he that earn wages to put it in a bag with holes. Thus saith Yahuah of hosts, consider your way. Consider your desires. Consider them. Consider your ways. Because he said, I can't give you this increase because you're asking amiss. You consuming all this stuff on your desires and it's stopping you from believing on me. Come on back tomorrow. Ain't my head hurt. Mark, what, 11:24? He said, therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. And when you stand praying, forgive if you ought against any, that your Father also which is in Shamahim may forgive your trespasses. For if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in Shamahim forgive your trespasses. So again, I can't even see that junk so cracked. So when you look at having faith in Elohim, and it's really trusting that he is able to do the things that you ask him for. See, let's look at an instance of that with John 11. See, I'm finna get ready to wind it down. I ain't finna hold y'all that long. Because we do got to deal with the justification and thing that we talked about the other day. As forth as believing all things. And I think after that, that would be, y'all willing, a good segue into enduring, or maybe bearing, or maybe both. Who knows? Y'all knows. I don't know. So, Eleven and 38. Yahushua therefore groaning in himself, this is John 11 and 38. Yahushua therefore again groaning in himself come to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Yahushua said, take ye away the stone, Martha, the sister of him that was dead. Saith unto him, Master, by this time he stink. He been dead 4 days. Yahushua said unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou would believe, thou should see the esteem of Elohim. See, look at this here, right? Look at the thing he told her. Didn't I tell you if you just believe, you'll have seen? See, this is what I was. This is what I had in my mind to hit when I sat down. One of the things that I was going to hit when I sat down, before I hit go live, we were going to talk about that dream that Joseph had. You know, with all the sheaves bowing down, worshiping him. It said his father Jacob considered that prophecy in his heart. His brothers hated him for it. And then you ended up seeing that Joseph became the second in command in Mizraim after he had been falsely accused and cast into prison, risen from the prison, and sat at the right hand of Pharaoh to rule in the land. And all these men came down and bowed and worshiped him because he believed it. He may have not understood it. He may have not even known what it meant, but he believed that Elohim was able to execute that to cause his brethren to bow down to him. Of course, we know that that would point to what, as far as the gospel is concerned? Yahushua being accused of transgression and being locked up falsely. Him coming out of that grave or out of that prison. You can see Ecclesiastes 10 and 7 for that, if you don't know. And being set down at the right hand of Elohim to reign. Then we look at Jacob, and he made the same promise to Jacob, you're going to inherit this land. Jacob seen, Malachim coming up and down the ladder. Didn't know what it meant, but he promised him a land and an inheritance and a seed that couldn't be numbered like the sand. And you turn around and Yahushua told you when you see the Malachim ascending and descending upon the Son of Man, then you know that I'm he. And he's standing there, he on that stake, again, like we read in John earlier. Say John 8, he say when all them people believed on him, when the Son of Man is lifted up, then all men will come unto me. See, it's many times where Yah will say, and I'll do this, and you shall know that I am Yahuah. I'm telling you this. He said, I told you this before it happened, that when it happened, you might believe. Yahuah and the Son, the Father and the Son told you this. You know what I'm saying? It's sitting back looking at these men that when he told them certain said things, they believed it. They believed that he was able and willing to fulfill the exact word which he spoke to them. And therefore they held fast to that. That's why you read that in Hebrews. He said, these obtaining a good report by faith, not receiving the promises, endured to move to get them. Because they believed it. What would make you think that those 3 young men in the book of Daniel would jump, be willing to get tossed in a fiery furnace if they didn't believe in you? You think that would the law have called them to do that? No, they believed in Yah. What make you think that would allow Daniel to be thrown in a lion's den for praying? because he believed in Yah. What would make you think Jeremiah would look these people in the face and say, if you kill me, you could do with me what you want to do. But just know if you kill me, innocent blood on your hand. What would make you think after Samson had his 2 eyes poked out of his face that he would believe that he could call upon Yah, that Yah would avenge him? What makes you think Gideon would know that he could go down with 300 men and take out a whole army of men unless he believed in Yah? What makes you think Jephthah would be able to take out the people he took out unless he believed in Yah? What makes you think David would be able to take down Goliath? And you look at all these people, they believed in Yah, so they looked at whatever they were going to do. It was nothing. We ain't even talking about people receiving any promises. We just talking about people standing firm in the face of affliction. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even talking about nobody getting no promise. We ain't even got to that aspect of it because we could go on for days, weeks. Verse 40 again. Yahushua saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou would believe, thou shouldst see the esteem of Elohim? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Abba, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. He said, for the people that are standing by, I said it to the intent that they might believe. And we're going to stop it right there for the evening, because we got more. I might extend this topic in the next week because it's important, y'all willing. He said, I'd have said it. He said, I know you always hear me. He said, I said it for the people standing by that they might believe. Because when you see me resurrect this man from the dead, you got to know that I'm the one he sent. Look at what I'm doing. Like what he told Philip. He said, how long have I been with you, Philip, and you have not known me? He said, don't my works bear witness? Do not my works bear witness? See, we didn't even finish what was in John 10 because we're going to save it. We're going to save it. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word, you know. Blessings to everybody out the house of Yah in the name of Yahushua, man. But you know, faith is very, very important. Because if you believe all things that Yahuah proclaimed, not believe, because remember the book say the simple believe all things. See, it's simple, and that ain't here. See, we were talking about believing all things that's of Yah, not just believing anything just to believe it. See, you got some people, if the word contradicts something they want to believe is true, they throw the word out the window and not the contradiction. Asinine. But nevertheless, man, we'll be on Park Street, y'all willing, on tomorrow, man. Y'all stay girded up, strong in the faith, you know. Increase your faith. If your faith weak, then shoot, let somebody know so it can be increased. But you can trust Yah. You can believe him. He ain't failed nobody. Not nobody who trusted on him. Anybody who feel like Yah failed him because they ain't trust him. They ain't believe in him. That's why they feel like he failed. You really failed yourself. But for those of you who faith is on the up and up, shoot, keep adding on to it. Keep your feet shod. And guess what? If you in the thorns, you need to cut them down. If you're among the stones, you need to move. Get you some good soil so that seed can bear forth some fruit so he don't curse you when he sees it. But if ain't nobody got nothing, y'all willing till tomorrow.